Alright boys, what's happening? Welcome back to another episode of My Team on F1 2021. Today we have the USA Grand Prix at the Circuit of the Americas. A very confusing track, really, for me. I don't really like this track. It's quite a combination of a lot of areas from other tracks. You know, the Sector 1 is like Silverstone, Maggots Beckett's, inspired from that. There's a turn that reminds me of Turn 10 from Bahrain. There's a turn I'm sure that they took from the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix circuit as well. But on the screen now, we're going through a few things in the admin side of things, and you can see here this email from Max talking about next year's regulations. Now it says that there's going to be changes to the internal combustion engine and the hybrid system, so it looks like, boys, we're going to get new regulations for the engine package for next year, which is quite bizarre because I watched Jarno Opmeer play through his career mode, and at the end of the season he got regulation changes in the aero department, so I thought ours would be for aero as well. I thought it was just a standard uniform thing, but clearly it is different with everyone's career mode. So we are going to start saving our resource points now, boys. Set up on the screen, by the way, for the USA Grand Prix. We're going to start saving our resource points. No more investments into the car until these regulations come out. Because if you don't know, when the new regulations come out, you've basically got to adapt all of your parts for next year, and just basically spend resource points to make sure your car is legal for the next season. So getting into the USA Grand Prix now, similar to Suzuka last week, I won't be very good at giving the track guide. I'm not very good around here, but you're braking uphill just at the 100-meter board there, just before that white line, down to second gear for this hairpin left, heading into the F section now, the Maggots and Beckett type section. Can easily make or break your lap through here, staying in 7th through the first left right, down to 6th for this left, and 5th for this right, I think, or we stay in 6th there, 5th for this left hander, bump a little bit of the curb there, down into 4th for the right. You can take a lot more of the inside right curb there. That costs us a little bit of time on this lap. I'll completely flat out as we head down the hill towards this straight, breaking at about 80 metres there at the 80-metre board. Well, 80-metre board is not an 80-metre board, but you know what I mean. Get early on the power because you've got a very long straight now. Obviously, take the shortest run as you can. You can see we're riding the inside here. Just careful for track limits if you're doing like my line here, how I'm doing. Braking at the 100-metre board there. Downhill, this reminds me a bit of Turn 10 from Bahrain. Easily lose the rear of the car if you get on the throttle too early there. Now we've got like a double apex here, nearly a double right, heading down into this turn, which again feels inspired from other tracks. Very easy to lose the rear end there as well if you get on the throttle too early. Now you're completely flat out through this right hander as we head down. I don't know why I dropped it into 6th there, that was weird. Stay in 7th, drop it to 5th for this left. Watch out for track limits, we might go a bit wide there. Down into 3rd gear for the final turn of the track, and that is our lap for Q1. That puts us P4 at the moment. This is very early in the session now, at 131.78. We're going to go again because we are in P13. So obviously P16 is the drop zone. So we want to go again, try and set a better lap. This is going to be our last lap, I think, of quali. We don't have time to do another one after this lap. Second gear for the hairpin left. Like I say, we took a lot of the curb there, which made up a lot of time. I don't even know if that's track limit or not, but it let us get away with it. 1/10 up, and you see there, boys, DRS has failed in the bottom right. Our DRS has failed, so we're not going to be able to open DRS in the DRS zone, which in USA is a massive thing, because this straight that you get DRS on is so long. You know, we're going to lose a lot of time. So DRS is offline, as you can hear Jeff say in the background. We're 1.2 tenths up on our time, but like you see there, the delta is just going to go completely down, boys, like nearly 2 tenths up. But once we hit the DRS zone, we're just going to lose all speed completely because we don't have that DRS. It just shows you how powerful DRS is. So we're going to go down to the red. We know we've got a lot to make up for the rest of the lap if we want to get that delta back into the green. Run a bit wide there, miss our braking points, which cost us a lot of time as well. And now the lap's going a bit to shit. The tyres are a bit gone from the previous corner. It was a bit poor, and like I said, boys, if you stomp the throttle too early on this corner because it cambers away, you're going to spin the car. And we hit the wall there, damage the front wing. Don't lose a tyre though, luckily. But yeah, careful on the throttle around there, especially because on the inside the track cambers down. Anyway, P14 in Q1, we may get it through. Callum Ilott is P18 again. I swear this guy is qualified P18 in every single race. So at least we know that he's consistent, but consistently shit. So yeah, he won't be around for much longer, I don't think. This is Q2 now. Let's set our lap. left it a bit late into the lap, or we've set a lap already and we're in P16, so not very quick whatsoever. Already we're up in the delta just from our exit onto the home straight, heading now into the S's section. You can see there the delta, we've lost a bit of the delta as well, back into the red, staying 7th for the left, right, 6th for the left, 6th or 5th for the right, like I said before. Short shift to 6th, back into 5th. Very tricky section, make or break your lap through here, and we've took it very nicely. That 4th gear corner there as well, we've took it very nicely, and we are 7 tenths up, nearly 8 tenths up from our previous lap just through sector 1, which is absolutely massive. And sector 2 at USA is pretty much just this straight, so it all comes down to sector 3 if we can keep this time. We hit the DRS zone, we lose a bit of time on a delta, but it averages out 8.6 tenths up from our previous lap, which was a stinker. Look at that, 132.3, what a stinker of a lap. Braking just at the 125 metres really, I think is the braking point for that corner. Double apex now. Reminds me a little bit of Mexico with this double apex there, but yeah, getting into this left-hander, making sure not to get on the throttle too early, opening up the steering wheel before we do as well. If you keep the steering lock on and get the throttle, that's when you drop it, because it's so easy to do. Still 7 tenths up, down to 5th gear for this left. We run a bit wide there. It says track limits, but it actually cost us time going wide there. And you'll see coming through the last corner, that 7 tenth lead goes from 7 tenths to 4 tenths. So that puts us in P13, which is unfortunate. Those extra 3 tenths would have probably put us in the top 10, I do think, and got us through to Q3. Let's see there. No, it wouldn't actually. We would have got knocked out still, but we would have been ahead of Fernando Alonso and maybe ahead of Stroll and Tsunoda. I'm not too sure on that one, but that's the end of quali. Let's get into the race.
Here we are then in one of the fastest growing cities in the United States, the fabulous Austin, in the great state of Texas. The circuit itself 14 miles southeast of the city centre and home to the US Grand Prix since 2012. The latest in a long list of iconic tracks to have that honour. It's the Circuit of the Americas then, situated 14 miles outside the great city of Austin. This is the 3.6 mile lap with 20 corners, 10 each to the left and to the right, and top speeds of around 200 miles per hour. Overtaking opportunities are available into turns 1 and 12, especially with that rear wing DRS wide open. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Let's have a chat about McLaren. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Ricciardo, Sergio Perez, and Leclerc, Vettel, Gasly, Stroll, and Fernando Alonso. The owner driver, Norris. They've taken a grid penalty. Kimi Raikkonen and Giovinazzi, Tsunoda, Sainz, Mick Schumacher and George Russell. Ocon, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Mazepin, Latifi and Callum Islet. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
So boys, we are actually starting in P11, as you've seen there. I can't even remember where we qualified, but we're going to be in P11 after people taking grid penalties. Callum Ilott starting P22 after qualifying in P18. I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but I swear to God, every single race he qualifies P18 and starts P22. I don't know why he takes a penalty every single fucking race. But yeah, so our strategy, mediums, starting on the mediums, into the softs, 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go in Austin, Texas for the USA Grand Prix. And we get off to a slower start compared to the cars around us. Obviously being on those medium tyres, we're going to have a slower start to the soft runners. We seem to be the only guy on medium tyres, pretty much on the whole grid. I do think, starting the race on mediums. I think we are actually the only person on medium tyres. So let's see if our different strategy can help us. We make one place on the first lap there to Fernando Alonso. You can see Alonso getting a bit too close for comfort there. And we've got a very fast Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris behind us at the end of lap 2. They stay behind us heading into lap 4 now. You can see we're coming through sector 1 on lap 4, coming over the crest now, and you can see that we run a bit wide, which allows Fernando Alonso to just stomp on the throttle and completely fly past us. But we're going to try and send it. We probably should have gone up the inside there. That would have been a good line to take, but we stick to the outside through this corner, heading down the straight now. And you can see our engine power, boys, even on the slower medium tyres, even to Lando Norris behind us, who has a great engine in that McLaren car. We just absolutely blitzed Lando on the straight because our car is so fast. Our power unit is so just good. It's so much better than even the Mercedes power unit now. We have the best engine on grid by far. So we have lost that place to Fernando. We are outside of the points now. Lap 5, we're trying to chase him down, but we know we run a bit wide there, but we know that, you know, these first few laps we don't have to worry about getting overtaken. Everybody is going to be faster than us on those soft tyres. We're on the mediums. We're going for a different strategy to everyone else, but we will be faster towards the end of the race when we swap onto those softs. We'll have less fuel in the car as well, as what I was thinking about. Less fuel in the car. Be on soft tyres. We're going to be absolutely rapid towards the end of the race, but these medium tyres, boys, around USA, they were not good. I'll tell you that. They were not good, and Lando sends one up the inside now as we head through the last turn in lap 5 here, crossing the line into lap 6. We had a very slow sector 3 there on lap 6, and Lando manages to overtake us with the DRS open, heading down into turn 1 now. We are, of course, going to try and make that position back. Almost made contact there. If I would have stomped the throttle, we would have made contact with Norris. Had to open up the wheel there. Now we've got Kimi Raikkonen behind us, but Kimi Raikkonen, we know he shouldn't be able to catch us. Lewis Hamilton is so far ahead in this race. He's pit and came out in P10. So Lewis is pit and came out 2 places ahead of us still. Just shows how fast that Mercedes car is. We make a bit of contact there with Kimi Raikkonen. I don't know what Raikkonen's thinking, boys. His head has been completely gone the last few races, and he is retiring at the end of the season, like I have mentioned before, Kimi Raikkonen. So yeah, Raikkonen, his head's gone. I don't know if it's old age or what, but his head has been completely gone these last few races, and he's lost his front wing end plate there from making contact with us. It was my fault completely, I'll tell you that, but we're going to blame it on Kimi Raikkonen's old age. But it was completely our fault. Now we're coming out the pits now after our first pit stop of the race, and everybody in front of us has gone from the soft tyres onto the hards by the looks of things. So they're on the 1-stop strategy, we're on the 2-stop. Can we get in these last 15 laps? Can we put in enough time? Can we make up enough time with these soft tyres on? You can see there, Alonso 4 seconds ahead, Lando 10 seconds ahead in P10. Lando's vanished now, and we've got Pierre Gasly in P10, but we've made up, you can see there, I don't even remember how many laps later this was, but we've made up 4 seconds on Fernando Alonso already. Faster car, faster tyres. DRS open now down the home straight. We might use a little bit of battery, but it's going to be an easy overtake. We don't even need to use battery heading into turn 1. But Fernando gets very defensive on his line there. We almost made contact, nearly lost our front wing end plate. Same thing that happened to Kimi Raikkonen before. But yeah, we managed to easily pass Fernando there on the straight. Our engine power is just ridiculous. As soon as we get that throttle down, we are absolutely flying. So now we are chasing down Pierre, and you can see Pierre was 10 seconds ahead, and now he's only 5 seconds ahead. But Esteban Ocon is out of the session, so let's see what happened to Esteban as he came through the corner here. Just goes completely off the track. Let's Callum Ilott past him, doesn't hold up our teammates very luckily for Callum, and pulls over to the side there. And yeah, Esteban's out of the race. Now we head towards the yellow flag sector to see Esteban's car at the side of the road, and you can see there Esteban, he's just parked right at the side of the road, right off the racing line. I will be very surprised if that is not a safety car. That's got to be a safety car, that's surely. He just parked at the side of the road, Ocon there, that's got to be a safety car. And there we have some live team radio there, boys, from Sasuke Gaming, to say that he thinks it should be a safety car. You know, Ocon is pretty much on the racing line, just at the side of the road. If someone runs a bit wide in that corner with too much speed, that could be a very dangerous collision. But you can see how much time we've made up to Pierre. We are now less than a second, trying to stay in that less than a second bracket to get DRS on Pierre, and head towards the end of sector 3 now. Pretty much all the footage happens in this sector 3, and we make a mistake here, boys. I'll show you in a second. We did have DRS for this next home straight, but we come into the pits to change our tyres. Now this was just me following strategy to a T. If I would have went around that last corner and took the DRS or used DRS, I probably could have overtook Pierre before we went into the pits, and then made up a place on Pierre after we came out of the pits. So very stupid for me there. But Nicholas Latifi is out of the session, pulls over to the same place that Esteban Ocon pulled over, where I said it should have been a safety car. I thought it should have been a safety car, but neither incident pulled out the safety car, which was unfortunate for us. You know, everyone on those hard tyres, those old hard, us on fresh new softs, we would have had an absolutely fantastic start behind the safety car if one did come out. And that is why we were hoping for one so much, because we are obviously on these softs compared to everyone else in front on the hards. We would have absolutely blitzed a few people and probably made it up into the points. But you can see that we come out to the pits now behind Fernando Alonso. P12 we're in. Probably should have stayed out for one more lap and beat Pierre on that lap before we did pit. And yeah, probably a silly mistake from me, but who knows how that's going to go. But 5 laps left in the race now. Well, as we come towards the line, and Alonso is 5 seconds ahead, so can we make up a second a lap on Fernando, and can we even get Pierre 15 seconds ahead? I don't know about that. We go purple in sector 3 though, very fast lap from us there to go purple in sector 3. We are of course on these softs, less fuel in the car compared to the start of the race, and we are just absolutely flying. You can see we've made up almost a second on Alonso, since I did mention he was 5 seconds ahead, so we are making up a lot of time. But you might have just noticed in the bottom there, our fuel flashed up yellow. We did under fuel the car for this race, and we do have to do a little bit of lifting and coasting towards the end of the race, you'll see that. But yeah, we did under fuel the car just to try and maximise our advantage on the other cars around us. Really just relying on a safety car, really, because when you go behind a safety car you obviously save a lot of fuel. But no safety car came, which is unfortunate. We really relied on a safety car for this race to try and get back into the points. But after like a stinker, well, not even a stinker in qualifying, because we qualified, we started P12 or P11 on the grid. But the reason why I'm showing this full lap now, the first full lap I'm showing of the race, is I just wanted to highlight how fast we actually were. You see there, we go purple in sector 2, and we've made up almost 2 seconds on Alonso, 1.5 seconds on Alonso this race or this lap already. We can see his car in sight now. It's actually in sight, in our vision, as we come around the corner now, and you can see his car there just in front of us. So we know we are like gonna pass Alonso before the end of this race surely. Bit of oversteer on that corner there, losing the tyres a bit maybe because we're pushing so hard, losing the rear end of the car, and you can see there, boys, fastest lap of the race. We go purple in sector 3 again, beat our own personal record in that sector 3, and we get fastest lap of the race. But of course that fastest lap will mean absolutely nothing if we don't finish within the points. Now 4 laps left, and Pierre Gasly in the points is 10 seconds ahead of us. We're going to make a pass on Alonso here. Watch how we set this up. He moves to the outside, Alonso comes to defend, and we get an easy switch back there and take the other racing line. But Alonso very defensive again, but exactly the same time as we passed him last time, downhill on the straight here, or a little bit of a straight, we just plant the throttle and get so much engine power compared to that Renault unit and overtake him. Now you can see the fuel is flashing. We are going to have to lift. Oh, this is the final lap of the race, and we've let Pierre just get ahead of us really. You know, we didn't really have the fuel to push, and I thought if we did push and keep up our pace, we would have ran out of fuel completely by the time we caught Pierre at the end of the race. So I decided to sacrifice it, and you know, just lift and coast. You can see me lifting and coasting through the S's here, just coming off the throttle and just letting the car drift through to save fuel there. Crossing the line now, Pierre's finished 10 seconds ahead of us. We finished the race in P11, keep Fernando Alonso behind us. Alonso, another driver who's probably going to retire soon in the game, and driver of the day goes to Callum Ilott. I don't know how, because you know, this guy stinks. Like, this guy stinks. I know we got us a point and we were gassing him up when he first joined the team, but this guy, man, like, he qualifies P18 every race and starts P22. Like, I don't know how he does it. Yeah, just very poor from the Callum Ilott, but he gets driver of the day. So, like, I haven't even had driver of the day yet. Dan Tickton got 2, Callum Ilott's got 1. I've got it 0 times, so I don't know why I'm slagging off my teammates when I can't even get driver of the day. Saying that though, we would have got it in Singapore, but of course the engine blew up. So yeah, that was just very unfortunate. Valtteri Bottas on pole, on the podium as well, on P1. And yeah, I'm just sick of seeing this guy's face, in all honesty. We have Max Verstappen P2. And it slips my mind who came P3 there. I actually missed it. I think it was Daniel Ricciardo. It was indeed Daniel Ricciardo finishing in P3 there. Lewis Hamilton losing 3 places and finishing P5. Stinker from Lewis. We keep our fastest lap of the race by a decent amount there to Valtteri, but it means nothing because we don't finish in the points. So Callum Ilott finishes P18. Qualified P18, started P22, got back to P18 after 2 DNFs. So realistically, he was only P20 if you included DNFs. But yeah, Callum, man, like, I don't even know why he got driver of the day. He came up, he finished from P22 to P18. Like, that's not really impressive, you know what I mean? Like, we got a few upgrades come through there before the Mexico Grand Prix, which is absolutely massive. You'll see now the upgrades we do get. We get a drag reduction upgrade there, which is massive for Mexico. A very long straight in Mexico, so that drag reduction upgrade is massive. Weight redistribution upgrade came through as well, and weight reduction, and also a crankshaft upgrade on the engine power side of things. So we get a drag reduction upgrade and an engine power upgrade before Mexico, which is absolutely massive because that straight in Mexico is such a big part of this circuit, and engine power and drag reduction. You can see it on the screen now on the track. The straight is absolutely massive. So those upgrades are going to help us massively for the Mexican Grand Prix. If you do want to see that video tomorrow, get this video to 10 likes. If not, it'll be up the day after that. But yeah, man, if you've enjoyed this video, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know the vibes. I will catch us next time. Take it easy.